In this lecture, we will be looking at MongoDB and we will be going through the very basic things of the MongoDB. So, if you are new to databases, you will have no problem understanding how MongoDB works and what are the commands that we are using to do the data manipulations inside the database. So before we learn anything, we need to know why are we learning these things. So as engineering students, you will get to work with many databases starting from MySQL, but as you shift towards AI and machine learning and data science, you will notice that those MySQL and those relational databases are not that uh, convenient because the data that is coming for these machine learning and data science applications are unstructured. That means we are not entirely sure that a particular data structure will be there in the future as well, and the data that is coming in, we don't know what kind of a structure that it will have. So it's little bit difficult to work with relational databases. So that is one reason why we are going for MySQL, non SQL or no SQL databases such as MongoDB. So like always, any code that is related to this lecture, you can find it on our GitHub repository. You can go there and clone it and follow along. So SQL versus no SQL. So in the very simplest terms, think of SQL as a table. So you have records or rows and you have columns. So you have a specific data structure, and you know, okay, if it's patient data, you know, okay, first column is patient ID, second one is name, address, telephone number, like that. You have, let's say, 20 columns. So that table structure is fixed. So if at some point we need to add some other data, we need to add a column, and we need to expand the table and do the changes and everything. On the other hand, NoSQL databases, they don't care about the table structure. In most cases, you don't have to even create any table structure. You just have to put the data inside the table, and it doesn't look like a table. It's just a how what we call it is a collection. So it's just a collection of documents. When we come to NoSQL, how we call them is collection of documents. On the SQL side, how we call it is a table of records. So in SQL side we have records, on the NoSQL side we have documents. In the SQL side we have a table, on the NoSQL side we have a collection. So you will understand how these looks as we move forward. So again, the difference is one is relational, other one is document based. So relational means, think of it as, okay, the table is there, we have the relations, like, okay, these are the columns and everything is fixed. But on the other side of things, the NoSQL side of things, it's documents. So here on the picture you can see, when we are creating a MySQL table or a relational table, uh, you need to create the table first. Like, we have to tell, okay, create a table called apps, and it has to have, the first column should be an integer, second column should be a varchar of this much length. Like that we have to define it. But when we come to the document based ones, we don't have to define the table, we don't have to define the document, we just have to put the document in, and that's it. So one of the most popular types of NoSQL databases is MongoDB. So what we will do is, we will see how we are going to install MongoDB. It's very easy. So first you have to go to this particular URL, and you will see there will be a you will be able to download the MongoDB installer, and here you can select there's something called community server. You have to select that, otherwise you have to pay. So you just go to the community server section and download it from there, and just double click and install it if you are on Windows. So all our lectures we are focusing on Windows operating system, so we'll use that one. But for Linux and other stuff, you just select the platform and you download the proper one. Again, you don't need to download the enterprise server, you can download the community server, which is free. So once you have downloaded it and double clicked and installed it, you can make sure whether you have downloaded it and installed it correctly by going to your command line. So you can go to search and type cmd, and the command prompt will pop up, and you click it, and inside the command line you just type mongo. So if you type this, and if something like this comes up, that means you have properly installed MongoDB into your system. Now you have the MongoDB running in your system, so everything is good. Okay, now it's time to start. So one thing you need to know is what is a JSON. So if you know what is a JSON, good. Otherwise, for those who doesn't know what's a JSON, JSON is a very simple structure which opens with a curly bracket and closes with a curly bracket. Inside that you have what we call keys and values. So there's a key is hero name, and the value is Superman. Key is real name, and the value is Clark Kent. Key is powers, and the value is a list of strings, and the key always has to be a string. On the other side, the value value can be anything. It can be a string, list, boolean, integers, anything. It can be anything. So it's just key value pairs inside a two curly braces, and that is what we call a JSON. So these kind of JSON objects are the ones that we are saving inside Mongo database. So first thing you can do is you can open the command line and type Mongo like we did previously, and once you have that the notice part, you will see a arrow mark, and now you can type show DBs, and it will list down all the databases that are there. So if you haven't worked with, this is your first time installing MongoDB in your machine, then it will show something like local and some two or one other databases. Don't worry about those. Those are related to the MongoDB installation itself. We can use them, but we are not going into that depth. We will be just working. So this is a command that you can use to check what are the databases inside my MongoDB installation. Now if you don't know, database is the big thing, and inside the database you can have multiple tables, right? Or in MongoDB's notation, we have the database. Inside that we can have multiple collections, and for under each collection we can have multiple documents. That's it. Okay, each document is a JSON object. So how do we create a new database? It's very easy. You just type use, and you then put the name of the database that you want to create. So it will automatically create a database called comics. That's it. And then you can type show DBs, and you will see, okay, there's a new database that was created, right? So now you must remember this one also. Let's say you are now inside the, like when you type use comics, that that takes you inside the comics database. So if there wasn't a database, it would create a database called comics and then go inside it. Now let's assume you had another database that you want to go into that. You just type use that particular database that you want to activate. So when you do that, it will say, okay, now we are switching to the old comics database. So that is how you change between databases. Okay. Now, how do you delete a database? Very easy. You first have to go inside the database. So you type use and the database name, and it will show, okay, we are inside that particular database, and we just type db dot drop database, capital simple. The case sensitivity is important, so you have to type it exactly like this. And when you hit enter, it if everything is okay, it will say, okay, I dropped one database, or in this case, this is a boolean value for true. So okay, I did it okay. That means the command ran okay, and that means that database is removed. It is recommended that you don't use this command very often, because if you accidentally hit this, there's no warning, there's no double checking, it will just drop the database. That means every collection you had inside that database and all the documents you had for each of those collections, everything will be gone just by one command. So be very very careful when you are using this command. Okay. Now when you are inside a collection, like we discussed, you can use the command use comics to go inside the comics database. And if you want to see the collections inside that, or collections, remember collection are like tables, but collections are not structured in a proper way. So you just type show collections, then if there are any collections, it will show. Now in our thing, we just created the database, we don't have any collections inside that, so it will show nothing. Very simple. Then we will create a collection. How do we create a collection? There are different ways. One of the ways is, okay, we say db, we are talking to the database saying db create a collection called villains, right? So it will say, okay, I created that. And then when we put show collections again, now we have a collection called villains. Very easy. Again, you need to be paying attention to the capital simple or the case sensitivity of this thing. Now there's another way of creating a database, not a database, a collection. That is, we don't create an empty collection. What we do is we are telling, okay, database, go to the heroes collection and insert this particular JSON object. You see, it's a JSON, curly bracket, key and a value, right? So now you might be thinking, okay, we are asking it to insert this particular document to the heroes collection, but we didn't create a heroes collection. That's okay, because MongoDB is intelligent enough to recognize, okay, he is asking me to put this into heroes, but we don't have a heroes collection, so I will automatically create a heroes collections first and then insert this one into that. So now when we type show collections, we will see heroes and villains, we will see both. Okay. Now how do we delete a collection? Remember, inside a collection we have lot of documents. So when you are deleting a collection, all the documents inside the collection will be gone. So how do we drop a collection? We just type, now we are inside the database and we can look at the collections by typing show collections. And now we want to drop a particular collection, let's say heroes. We are saying db go to the heroes collection and drop it, and it will say, okay, I did it. And now when we look at the collection, show collection, it will say okay, only I have only villains collection. Very simple. So this is a very simple command. Now when you are typing like this, your command shell will be filling up and it's not good. So you can just type cls and hit enter, and it will clear up everything, and your cursor will move to the top of the screen, which is a good thing to do. And now we will see how to insert a document to the table or the collection. We saw how to do that previously also, like this is the same example. How do we do that? db go to the heroes collection. If there is no collection, create one. That's what it is saying. Then insert this particular document, and if everything goes all right, it will say okay, number of inserts, it's one. We inserted one, no problem, right? So how do we look at the documents inside a collection? It's very easy. So we are telling it database, go to the heroes table or the collection and find everything. So find. So it will give us okay, here's the collection, here's the document. Now you will wonder, okay, we inserted only hero name and super value. Where did this id come from? So the thing is, for the database to properly manage things, it has to put a unique id for each of the document. So if we don't give an id underscore id, it will automatically create one. That's how this part came. So either you have to give the id or it will create one for you, right? So this is a document. So this is how we look at all the documents inside a particular collection. Now so here I have created another inserted another document called Batman, and now when I see view all the documents, I am seeing db heroes and find everything. So I see two documents, no problem, right? So how do I delete a document? There are multiple ways for doing that. So let's see. We first look at what are the documents we have. Okay, just to make sure. Okay, we have one called Batman and Superman, and I am telling, hey database, go to the heroes collection and remove the one whose hero name is Superman. So what it will do is it will go to the date collection and go through each of these things and find out okay, who has the name hero name Superman, and delete that one, right? So this first entry will be deleted. And when we look at all the documents again, we will see okay, only Batman is there. Previously there was two, now there is one. Why? Because we removed it based on the hero name. Okay, so that is how you delete a document. Then how to delete a collection, we already talked about it. db.heroes or whatever the collection name, and drop. Okay, so insert complex documents. Up to now we just inserted a very simple document, right? The document was curly bracket, hero name, the value, and end curly brackets. But here let's say we want to insert this little bit of complex document into the Mongo database, right? So it's very easy. If you want to try it, I would recommend that you type it out on a notepad. So you can use notepad++, and then to insert it, before inserting it, you can create the entire query like this on the notepad itself. db, we are telling db, go to the heroes collection and insert. What do we insert? From this curly bracket to this curly bracket, the entire complex thing. So we have hero name, we have real name, and we have a list of powers, we have gender and age. So this entire command or the database command, we create it on we type it out on a notepad, and we copy paste it, we copy the entire thing, and we go to the Mongo shell that we were working up to now. We just copy paste it, and it will say, if everything is okay, it will say okay, I inserted it. So this is a easy way of doing that, or you can just type it out in the command shell itself, but you might make mistakes. With the notepad you can see it properly, so you just type it out in the notepad and you copy paste it here. Okay, now view document, we did view document sorry we did view documents previously. We just tell database go to this particular collection and find everything, no problem, it will give us everything that it has. In this particular scenario it has only one object, right? Because I have cleaned the table before I started this one. If I type db.heroes find one, it will only give me one record, right? Find will give me all the records, find one will be giving me only one record. And it will you see, in find you get it in a not so beautiful way, but when you type find one, you see it in a better way, and we call this the pretty notation. So we can get it in a prettier way with find one. Now if we want to do the same thing, like if we want to see all the documents in a prettier way, what we do is we do the same thing. Database, go to the heroes table, find everything and make it pretty, lasana karana. So you will get this in a very easy to read manner. Okay, and then we most of the time we don't want to get all the records, and we don't want to get just one record, we want to get a specific record. Yes, we want to get one record, but we want to get a specific record. So what we do is either we do it like this. So let's say I want, now if we go to the previous one, we see that okay, in the database we have Superman is there, Batman is there, and Wonder Woman is there, right? No problem. But let's say you want to get only the details of Wonder Woman. So what you do, you tell it a specific condition, you put it there. So you are saying database, go to the heroes collection and find, what do we want to find? The record or records that has real name Diana Prince. So any record that has the real name Diana Prince will be captured by this and returned. So we get the Diana Princess or the Wonder Woman's details. So this is hard to read, so we do the same thing, only difference is now database hero, go to the heroes collection, find, what do we want to find? All the records that have the real name as Diana Prince, and show them in a prettier way. So dot pretty, when we do that we get the like the readable version, or let's say more prettier version, and you see okay, the Wonder Woman's details has come. Very easy. So that is viewing a document with condition. Okay, no problem. So here's another one. Now this time we are telling okay, database, go to the heroes collection and find all the records where the gender is male and show it in a pretty way. Now in this case we have two records, because there are two records or two superheroes who are male. So we get Superman, we get Batman. Okay, so we get two. So that is how you use conditions to get data or documents from MongoDB. Um, so there are other things that you can do also, like let's say you want to get records where the super hero's age is less than 40 years. So this is little bit complex, but if you understand it, if you take time and see it through, it is very easy. So it's the same thing. Database, go to the heroes collection and find. What do we need to find? We need to find age. And what is the condition? Instead of age being a particular value like 40, we are saying, okay, I don't want people with age 40, but I want people with, then there's another condition, $LT. $LT means less than. So this is telling, okay, give me everyone whose age is less than 40. If I want the people who are older than 40, I would say GT, greater than. So if I want people who are below 40 and people who are 40, I will say LTE, that means less than or equal. Okay, so only one person is younger than 40 years of age, that is Superman. So we get Superman's record as the output. No problem, right? Now see here, I have used less than or equal. Same command, database, go to the heroes collection, find what is the condition? I need age to be less than or equal to 40. Now in this scenario we get 2 because of obviously Superman will come because his age is 32, but this time since we have less than or equal, we get uh, Batman also because he is 40 years of age. Okay, now sometimes we don't want to insert one document at a time. We want to insert multiple documents in one go, right? So it's very easy. So this highlighted part you can type it out in a notepad first. So it is just saying, previously we used insert one, but this time we are using, okay, database, go to the villains collection and insert many. So if we use insert one, we use just the JSON object, but now we are telling, okay, now I am going to send you multiple documents, so that means it should be a list. So that is why we have a list. So we have the square brackets opening here, closing here, and inside that we have 1, 2, 3, 4 documents. So we are asking the database to go to the villains collection and insert these 4 records into that in one go. We could have done it in four different um, tries using insert one, but why do that when we have insert many? We just put them all together and just insert it, and it will say, it will return you saying that, okay, everything was good and these are the inserted IDs. So that means because we didn't give IDs for these 4 documents, it created IDs and inserted them, and it returned telling that, okay, you sent 4, I inserted 4. No problem, right? So now just to check what we do, if we want to view the documents in a collection, we just type db collection name and find. So we inserted 4 things: villains, Lex Luthor, Joker, Riddler and Cheetah, and it has automatically added the IDs. No problem, we don't care about that much. And we have 4 documents inside our villains table. Okay. Now sometimes we don't want to get all the documents out, but we want to just see how many documents are there inside the table. So it's very easy. So you just tell db go to the villains collection and count everything. So it will tell, okay, there are 4 documents there. So that is the easiest way, but you can do it this way also. So it is saying database, go to the villains collection, find everything and count it, and it will also say 4. But here the first one is very easy to read and it's easy to understand, so we'll use that one. Okay, count documents. So you might be wondering why do we use the second one when we have the first one, which is short and sweet. Why we need the second one is, let's say you don't want to count everything, but you want to count uh, based on a condition. So what in this one, see, we are telling database go to the villains collection and find, and we have a condition, find all the villains who are enemies of Batman and then count them. So we have altogether 4 villains in the database, but only 2 of them are villains or the enemies of the Batman. So that is why this notation is better, not better, useful, right? Because we can put a condition here. In the first one we can't put a condition. It will always give all the documents count. So here we are saying find people who are enemy of Batman and count it. No problem. So if we wanted to delete a document, let's say here I am inserting another villain. Okay, so db go to the villains collection, insert a new record, and new record says, okay, villain name is Penguin. He he is enemy of Superman, and after I insert it, I realize, okay, Penguin is not an enemy of Superman, so I did a mistake and I want to delete this record. Okay, so how do we delete a record? You can just say, so you can just look at the now the table. Okay, you have the table. Now we have 5 records and the last one is wrong, right? Because uh, Penguin is not an enemy of Superman, so I want to delete that one. So how do I delete? One way to do this is, so since no one has the name Penguin except for the record that we have, that the error is there, so we can just say database go to the villains table or the villains collection and remove. How do you find the one to remove? You go and find the villain name document that has the villain name Penguin. So it will go to this tab collection, go through all these things and find out who has the villain name Penguin. So it will see, okay, this record has the villain name Penguin, and it will just delete it. If there were 2 records with the villain name Penguin, it will delete both of them. Okay. Now when we search everything, it will just give us the original 4, not the error one. Okay. Now, instead of deleting this, now you might be thinking, okay, why do we have to delete this? I could have just updated this somehow to Batman, right? Penguin is a enemy of Batman. So why do I have to delete this? If I can find a way to update this, that would be much better. And you will be right. So we need to know how do we update records. So again what I have done is, okay, I have inserted the incorrect record. No problem, right? No problem means it got inserted, but the problem is it's wrong because it shouldn't be Superman. So if we look at everything dbvillains.find, we see all 5 records, but with the wrong one. So how do we update it? It's very easy. So here you just need to understand this once and you will be able to do it all the time. So we are telling database go to the villains table and update. Now we need to tell it two things. First we need to tell it how to find the record that it needs to update, record or records. So we are telling, okay, you have to update record which has the villain name Penguin. So it will go through all the records and it will see, okay, this is the document that this guy is talking about. So it knows, okay, I need to update this one. And then we need to tell it, okay, with what do we have to update it? We are telling, okay, make enemy of as Batman. So because we need the Superman to be changed to Batman, so it will just do that. But this way is wrong, because now when we look at the all the records, we will see, okay, yes, it got updated as enemy of Batman, but its villain name it vanished, because in this particular scenario what we are telling it is not exactly update, but it's kind of a replace. So what we are telling it is database go to the villains collection and update this particular the record that has this particular condition and update it with this. So database is thinking, or the Mongo is thinking, okay, he is asking to replace this one with this. So it removed the villain name and just and also this part and added this one. So that's why this came as a different format. See, other things have villain name, but this has no villain name. So this way of doing the update is wrong, right? If you want to replace it, okay, this will work. But if you just wanted to update this particular thing, there's a way to do that. Okay. So one way to do that is, okay, you will be thinking, okay, I could have, see, so in the top part I have again inserted the wrong thing, and now here is the place where we need to focus on. Now we are telling database go to the villains table, still we are using the update command, and we have given the condition, okay, find out the documents which have villain's name Penguin. So it will find this one, and now we are telling it, okay, this is the one that it should be updated with. So it will remove what was there and replace it with this. So everything is okay right now, no problem. Okay, this is one way of doing it. But now you see a problem. Now in our scenario we have villain name and enemy of, that's it, only two keys we have. But in a real scenario there might be 20 or 30 different keys. So if we want to update one field, we if we are using this method, we have to retype all 20 keys and their values properly to do this. So that is not a good practice, it's not a good engineering. So we are not going to use this kind of a update, we are going to use a different kind, right? So what we are going to use is something called set, $set. So it's very easy if you understand it. Same thing, on the top I have put the same incorrect one. So we have 5 records and one has Superman. I just want to remove the Superman and put Batman there. So how do I do that? DB go to villains table, update, and first we need to give it the condition, okay, somehow we need to tell it what document to be updated. So we are telling it, okay, find the document where the villain name is Penguin. So it will find this particular document, no problem. Now what we do is we have a little bit of a different notation. We say $set. Okay, now you found the document. Now set only this thing. Set enemy of to Batman. So you found this and just set the enemy of's value from Superman to Batman, and then when we look at the thing we see okay, everything is good. So this is the best way of doing this, right? Everything is clear, it is readable, you don't have to retype everything, right? So for updates we use set command. All right, now let's say you want to update see in this scenario I have inserted villain name as Penguini. So I have made a spelling mistake here, and I have made Batman again wrong with Superman. So now I need to I would like to update both of these at once. Yes, I can update Superman to Batman first using the set command. Then I can update Penguini to Penguin using the same set command again. But I don't need to do it twice because I can do it just in one command, same command that we used earlier. We are telling database, go to the villains table, update. What do I have to update? Just this. Find the document where the villain name is Penguini. So it will find this particular document, and we are telling okay, set. What do I have to set? Enemy of, set it to Batman. Villain's name, set it to Penguin. So it will do the setting for both of the things at once. And when we look at it again, we see okay, Penguini has changed to Penguin, enemy of has changed to Batman. We are good. So this is why the set command is very powerful. Okay. So here I have created a villain named Penguin who is enemy of Batman, and I have created another villain Penguin who is an enemy of Batman. So if we look at all the records, now we have two records with similar things, right? And I want to update one of these records now, since I have Lex Luthor, Joker, Riddler, Cheetah, Penguin, and the other one I need to change it to, let's say, Grundy, Solomon Grundy, right? One of Batman's villains. Now if I use the previous thing, what I will do is I will tell database, go to the villains table or the collection and update. You find the document using this condition. Now the problem is this condition, when it is searching with this condition, there are two records, two documents which have Penguin as the villain's name. So it will use both of these things, and it will update the villain's name to Grundy for both of them. So sorry, not the both of them. It will find both of them, and it will update just the top one. Okay, first one that it finds. And when you look at it, see Lex Luthor, Joker, Riddler, Cheetah, and from the bottom two, it matched the both of them, but it changed only the first one. So it changed into Grundy. All right. Then but let's do the same thing, and if I wanted, like whatever I do in the previous scenario, see, I will not be able to update the second one as Grundy while keeping the first one as penguin, because every time I do it, it will always pick the first one to be changed. But if I really want to keep the first one as it is and just update the second one, now what do I have to do is, we see that whether these two records are equal with the values, we see that always the ID is different. So the second one's ID is ending with B1F, first one is B1E. So instead of using villain name, since I want to update the second one, I can just say database go to the villains table and update. What do I have to update? The record where the ID is B1F. So it will pick this one and it will set the villain's name to Grundy. And now when we look at it, we have Lex Luthor, Joker, Riddler, Cheetah, Penguin and Grundy. So we updated the record that we really wanted to update. No problem, right? So using the ID is one of the best ways to do this, because ID is always unique. We really know that if we map it from the ID, the correct record will get updated. So sometimes we want to get the documents from the database in a sorted order. Okay, so how do we do that? So this is ascending order if we want to get it ascending. So let's say I have the villains and here are my villains, so all 6 are there, and I want to list them based on the villain name. I want them in the ascending order. So since these are strings, ascending order means alphabetical order. So how do we do that? Very simple. We are telling database go to the villains table, find everything, but before you give it to me, sort it. And we have to tell it, okay, with what field or with what key do I have to sort. So we are telling it, okay, sort it using the villain's name, and we are telling it 1. 1 means ascending order. -1, if we put -1 here, that means descending order. So you will see now everything is in ascending order. So C, G, J, L, P and R. No problem, right? Now if we want it in the descending order, same thing, we just put -1 here. Now you see R has come to the top, P, L, J, G, C. So reverse alphabetic order is there. Okay, so that covers everything related to basics of MongoDB. Now in the next lecture we will be looking at how to use MongoDB through Python, because when we write a program we can't do this, right? We can't, like, program will have to run by itself. We can't go and open a shell and type these things out every time. It's good to learn, but we want Python or Java or whatever the programming language to directly talk with the database. So in the next step what we will be doing is we will be teaching you how to use MongoDB using Python, and for that we are using a library called PyMongo. So this concludes our lesson on MongoDB. We will see you in the next lecture.